Hey guys, good morning and welcome to my channel. We're discussing Mandela effects of light. Thank you for joining in this morning. Welcome all Mandela effectings. Hey guys, I have to put this one out there because there's still people that remember the flesh-colored crayons from back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Who supposedly they discontinued the Crayola flesh-colored crayon in 1962. However, some people still remember them being bought and sold as early as like the late 80s. And I being one of them, I remember the flesh colored crayon myself. But I wanted to show you guys. This is Sean Indigo. He does some Mandela effects. Um, Again, you have to take everything in with discernment. Separating truth from fiction. But a lot of the Mandela effect is, in fact, truth. I'm going to play this video, okay, so you guys can see Sean's response to the flesh-colored crayon, okay?
But the crayon, the Crayola crayon with the name Flesh, if you recall having Crayola crayons when you were growing up or when you were already an adult and you saw the color, it was like it's now called peach, the color peach. When it first came out, it was called Flesh. And it was changed to peach because it was disrespectful, and because there's so many different colors of flesh, it was absolutely ridiculous to pick one and call it flesh. So they correctly and wisely switched it to peach. But yeah, here's the Mandela effect. The flesh-colored crayons. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't looked into this enough to be 100% sure, but my understanding is the flesh-colored crayons went out of circulation. No new ones were made in way back in the 60s. Okay, but yet there are people who have Mandela effect memories who will say they swear to God they were using the flesh-colored crayons in the 80s. Hold on, easy to disregard. Okay, fine. It was a package from the 60s. You had it in the 80s. Of course, there's a flesh-colored crayon. Mystery solved. Not a Mandela effect. Wait. However, that's true. There are going to be boxes that are sitting on shelves for 20 years, and then they buy the box new and it has flesh. There are going to be boxes sitting at home, businesses, and wherever's for a long time, and then the 80s they're using them and it's flesh from the 60s. But what about the people who bought multiple boxes for their children throughout the 80s, and the Crayola color that's peach now in the 21st century was definitely flesh. Some people have vivid memories of the Crayola crayon that's now peach saying flesh in the 80s, and they were buying it new multiple times from different stores. Yeah, there's a one in God knows how many chance that they just happen to keep getting the boxes from the 60s that were being sold in the stores in the 80s. But come on. But you see the volume of people who are having this experience. That's like, so just a little one.
Okay. So, I mean, again, you have to decide what is truth for you. Because I know this one is probably not going to hit everyone, but this is from the Huffington Post, okay, about certain colors have been renamed for political reasons like flesh. Okay, this is by Ed Welter. What color is flesh? According to Welter, it's the lightly pigmented, roughly universal shade we see in all of our palms, like the Crayola crayon by that name. For most people, however, flesh refers to skin tone. And the problem with making one beige shade and the only skin tone crayon available is obvious. But until the early 1960s, Welter explained the company hadn't realized how the name can cause consternation. A social researcher noticed children using the shade to draw people, teasing darker skinned classmates who didn't match the crayon. Shortly after, the researcher wrote a letter to the company in 1962. After a couple of back and forth years with the name Pink Beige for some reason, the Crayola shade became known as Peach. Indian Red was also renamed, though not until 1999. Now, I do remember Indian Red. Do you guys remember that? And I remember Flesh. The name actually referred to a pigment from a plant found in India. It wasn't had nothing to do with Indian people. and it became renamed Chestnut. Okay, so just some tidbits of information there, guys. It was about racial reasons. That's why the flesh colored crayon was changed. However, some people like me, I still recall that crayon in the 80s. This article here, the global beauty industry, colorism, racism in the national body. The flesh colored crayon is peach beige, definitely not dark brown. He explains that the skin color crayon is a color neither matched my skin nor of the people of whom that I interact. Um, let's see. Jane believes that everyday practices of language and interactions help normalize fair skin color and play a huge role in perpetuating the prejudice. Yeah, so the skin crayon instills in the idea of us having the perfect skin color, something like that we hanker after the rest of our lives. So, yeah, that's what it was about. Um, Gosh, yeah, see that wasn't right. They shouldn't have introduced the flesh color in the first place. They should have thought about the backlash. That's crazy. Um, think about when you drew a picture of yourself. You just grabbed the crayon with the label that said flesh. That wasn't 200 years ago. It happened to me, Hannah. And this book, this is called The Blue Bead by Annette Israel. Um, Hannah, how do you deal with that when you were 7 years old and I'm the only one playing the race card? Because I'm telling you how much that hurt, that I still remember that. Saying, and I wanted to draw a picture of my daddy. I sat there and I tried to come up with a crayon that would color him in. I think burnt sienna was the best I could find. All the white kids could use that flesh colored crayon. Yeah, that was just so wrong, Crayola doing that. Crayola crayons have changed their flesh colored crayon to peach in 1962 due to the civil rights movement. So I'm glad they did that, guys. Really glad because I would hate for any of my Christian brothers and sisters to be offended. This is hate crime in the media, a history. Handling the truth on the writing memoir. We learned about coloring with crayon. We learned to tell the difference between white and pink and a color they call flesh. The flesh colored crayon amuses us. Like white, it never shows up on the thick manila paper that they give us to draw on. Yeah, that's probably why I never really used it. I didn't really use that crayon that much. I used pink normally to color skin. That was me. But yeah, there's actually a song written by this almost looks like Japanese Ix M Clem, or it might be German. But yeah, check it out. It's not. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I think it's mostly instrumental. But yeah, I just want to get your guys' thoughts. Have a great Mandela Effect day, and God bless you all.